So let's start with approval of minutes, August 3rd, October 12th, and October 25th of 2021. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of August 3rd, October 12th, and October 25th.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All roll call votes. Eric?
Aye.
Garfield?
Actually was not here for that meeting.
There's 3 meetings.
Well, for the second, we're talking August 3rd.
No, we're doing all 3. So was it the August one you weren't here for?
Correct.
So you'll recuse the August and vote yes on the 2 October?
Yes.
Perfect. Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And I. Select Board's announcement and statements. We will start with Garfield.
I have nothing at the moment.
Thank you. Eric?
Nothing, thank you.
Ed?
Just only that the minutes have markedly improved. So whoever's taking them over, they're doing a great job.
That's true. Lee?
None.
And I have nothing. Thank you. Town Manager's report.
Okay, thanks, Steve. First on my list for this evening is the Houstonic Waterworks. So to begin with, just a reminder that the Select Board will be meeting in the executive session on November 15th to discuss potential options for moving forward. Since the discussion could move in the direction of a property purchase or litigation in the way of a petition for rate relief through the DPU, it's only appropriate to discuss this under reasons 3 and 6 for convening an executive session. And finally, we're in the process of drafting a survey for Houstonic Waterworks customers. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to announce that publicly this evening. At this point, it's only about 8 questions, and the goal here is to create a way for us to find out just how many customers are being impacted by roily and discolored water, how long has it been a problem for them, and where the problems are occurring so that we can start to map those out. We'll get a finalized version up on our website, on our Facebook page, and on Instagram, and out in a traditional press release before the week is over. So I just wanted to encourage anyone who is a customer of the Houstonic Waterworks to chime in and provide some feedback. Winter parking ban is next on my list. This goes into effect next Monday, the 15th. This means no overnight on-street parking until April 1st to allow for plowing and snow removal by the Public Works Department. If you do not have access to off-street parking, you can use the Upper Railroad Street lot, you can use the Castle Street lot, Town Hall, Mason Library, and the Houstonic Community Center. But just keep in mind that cars in these lots could be subject to daytime limitations, and these areas also need to be cleared of snow. So use them overnight, of course, but plan to move your car in the morning. The Division Street Bridge, just a quick update for the board and the public this evening. We've cleared our DEP review, and we're into the final days now of our Mass DOT Chapter 85 review period. So the schedule looks something like this, and I'm just going to zip through some dates really quickly here. We'll be advertising the bid from November 24th through December 1st. We have a pre-bid meeting tentatively scheduled right now for December 16th, a bid opening scheduled for January 13th, and we expect to award the contract within a week and sign a contract with the contractor by mid-February. So this keeps us on track for construction, for spring construction and a reopening of the bridge in the summer of 2022. It'll be a one-lane bridge for anyone that hasn't heard that so far, temporary bridge, and that will remain in place until we find funding for a more permanent replacement. Houstonic Community Center meeting room is next on my list here. I just wanted to announce a few updates relative to that building. First, the meeting room has been painted. It's been cleaned out now, and it's set up or being set up as an additional meeting space for boards and committees once we resume in-person meetings. I know we've been talking about this for quite a while now, but there's just been no rush to do it without in-person meetings happening. So I hope that will be happening sooner than later, meaning the in-person meetings. We installed internet service to that building as well, and this will allow us to hold hybrid meetings from that location. And we'll be installing a Wi-Fi booster if one is needed. We haven't tested it yet, but if one is needed, we'll be installing that as well. And our hope here is that the parking lot outside the Housatonic Community Center will be an area that provides Wi-Fi to those that need it. It's a cell phone dead zone right there. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to make a call or send a text from that area. It's impossible. So this is another area or location for residents in the village or anywhere for that matter to access free Wi-Fi if they need to. Many of you have probably noticed the signs in town at both libraries, Housatonic and Great Barrington, mentioning that there's free Wi-Fi available, and we'll do something similar to that once we are up and running, which I expect will be in the next couple of weeks. And then if I could just real quickly add a few more on. Housatonic School is not on my list for this evening. I don't have anything concrete to share, although I hope to at the next meeting. Sean is seeking out additional contractors capable of completing the roof tarp and window boarding work now. He's doing everything he can do to get this building closed up before the snow flies. That's our ultimate goal here, and I'll plan to bring this up at the next meeting. And just to conclude my updates for the evening, there's a number of projects underway at the moment in town. I'm sure you've all seen them. So I just wanted to thank everyone for their patience. There's never a good time to disrupt parking, traffic, and make noise, but we are doing our very best to minimize the impacts. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Licenses and permits. Thomas Cressy for permission to install a driveway at 30 High Street. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve to give permission to Thomas Keene to install a driveway at 30 High Street.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Garfield?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And aye, it's unanimous. Betsy Andrus, Southern Berkshire Chamber of Commerce, for a one-day temporary entertainment license for the annual holiday stroll on Saturday, December 11th, 2021, from 3 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve a one-day temporary entertainment license for the annual holiday stroll on Saturday, December 11th, from 3 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for Betsy Andrus, Southern Berkshire Chamber of Commerce.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Garfield?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And aye. Stephen Hayward for National Grid, a poll petition for Long Pond Road to install one pole in the public right-of-way, approximately 5,250 feet north of the center line of the intersection of Division Street and abut property at 265 Long Pond Road. Let me just see if is he on the line, Mark? Does anyone have any questions before we vote on this?
No.
Steve, just out of abundance of caution, I'm going to recuse myself.
Okay. Okay. And Steve is on the line, so if you just want to give a brief explanation of this, that would be helpful.
Yep, Steve Hayward, National Grid. We are looking to install a new pole on the opposite side of where all the existing poles are along Long Pond Road in that area, so that we can provide service to the residents that's being built at 265 Long Pond Road.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve Stephen Hayward's pole petition for Long Pond Road to install one pole in the public right-of-way at approximately 5,250 feet north of the center line of the intersection of Division Street and abut the property at 265 Long Pond Road.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Hearing none. Garfield?
Aye.
Eric?
Recuse.
Oh, yes, you recused yourself. My apologies. Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And aye, so show it as 4-0. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Next is Kate Hand. Is there someone here representing either the Farmers Market or Berkshire Cider Project? If there is, please raise your hand. Okay, good. So this is Cat Hand Berkshire Cider Project for a special farmer winery license to sell hard cider at the Grown Farmers Market at the Hoosie Dome, 1064 Main Street, Housatonic, starting on November 20th, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every third Saturday of the month through April 2022. Do you want to just give a brief explanation?
Sure. Hi, can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Hi, this is Kat from Berkshire Cider Project. So we are a small craft hard cidery located in North Adams. We make a fine hard cider. Everything we do is dry and bottled here in North Adams, and we source locally for the majority of our apples. So we really consider ourselves an agricultural operation, creating a value-add product from local apples. And we're super excited. We've sold at the West Stockbridge Farmers Market and had a fantastic reception there. And we're really excited to hopefully sell it at the Great Barrington Market as well. We'll be selling bottles to go. Obviously, nothing will be consumed on site, although we do hope to do some small samples for folks who want to just a little taste to see before they buy. But we love the Berkshires. We love agriculture in the Berkshires and really hope to be approved.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the special farmer winery license to Kate Hand of Berkshire Cider Project.
Second.
Do I have discussion?
How much will be served when you're serving the tastings? And
Oh, a sip. We have tiny little sample cups, and it's really just, a quick sip so folks know exactly what they're getting.
So I have a couple things to say. The Parks Department, which gave the permits for the farmers market, after 2 meetings and a lot of discussion, never got a chance to vote on this, and it's really the purview of the Parks Department. And it's the final license is from the select board, but the Parks Department does control the Housatonic Community Center. And it's unfortunate that this was never brought to the Parks Department, because I think we would have had a very good discussion. And I have some mixed feelings about selling any hard cider products at a kid's gym. I know kids won't, it's not necessarily where kids are, but it just sends a message that it's kind of funny for me, but that's just my personal opinion. Any other discussion? Roll call vote then. Garfield?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
So I vote no, so it's 4-1 to move ahead. Thank you, Cap.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Hope to see you all there.
Thank you. New business. Cannabis retailer introduction. Mark, you want to help me with this one?
Yeah, I'm going to start promoting people right now.
Yeah.
If there's anyone else I think I have everyone, but if there's anyone else, just raise your hand and I'll go ahead and open your mic as well.
Yeah, I'm on here, Mark. This is Brandon Pollock, if you can hear me, but would it be possible to share my screen as well, just for a short presentation?
Sure.
Absolutely.
And
Brandon, you should be all set. I just promoted you to be a panelist, so you should be able to turn your camera on and share a screen now.
All right, let's see.
I'm going to go ahead and actually promote all of you to be panelists so that we can see you.
Yeah, I'm not. Let me see, get out of Zoom webinar. I'm not quite seeing that for some reason, Mark.
Okay, let me just look at the settings. Hang on 1 second.
Yep.
Want me to promote Brandon to a panelist, Mark?
Yeah, he should be already.
There we go. I see it now.
Okay, yeah, you're good. So you should be able to share your screen.
Alrighty, that did the trick. So thank you. So essentially, this is Brandon Pollock with Theory Wellness. Our business is located at 394 Stockbridge Road in Great Barrington. I'm also joined by some of my colleagues here in the cannabis industry, Charlotte with Rebel and Alexander with Farnsworth Fine Cannabis. And we just wanted to reintroduce ourselves and introduce ourselves to the select board. It's been several years since I was last had a meeting with the board, and I know there's some new faces. So we continue to appreciate your leadership generally. And you know, from my view, it's been a very successful relationship with the town. And I want to thank Ed in particular for his leadership early on in the early days of cannabis and really helping, you know, us with our business and getting going here. So this presentation will just sort of allow us to introduce ourselves, go over a little bit about our businesses, and most importantly, just open up to any questions the select board may have about what we've been up to in the last few years. So I am the CEO, one of the founders of Theory Wellness. We operate, as I mentioned earlier, on Stockbridge Road. We started as a medical cannabis facility here in Great Barrington, and we're fortunate with your support to convert to adult use retail. We opened in January 2019 to all 21 plus adults, and have been growing, you know, our business since then. We've served customers from all around the world, as you know, well as folks from right down the block. So it's been really good experience overall. I'll turn it now over to Charlotte.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for having us tonight. I'm Charlotte Hanna, and I'm the founder of the parent company is Community Growth Partners, and our retail store here in Great Barrington is called Rebel, on South Main Street, right across the street from Guido's and next to the bagel shop for everybody that knows the area. And we opened, and we were the second dispensary to open after Brandon opened. We opened in September of 2020, just over a year ago. And we too have served so many customers from all over the world. It's been amazing to see people come to this great town and come visit this great community. I mean, we often send people to. I was listening to the previous presentation, and you know, we too send people to lots of businesses in the town, and it's been a really great opportunity opening up my very first cannabis business. We're a small business, woman and minority owned, in Great Barrington, in this town. We also have a cultivation operation that we're bringing on, and manufacturing and delivery that we're bringing online in Northampton as well. And I've been pretty active. I'm from New York originally, and I'm here every single week. I'm here in the office right now, actually, at Rebel. And I often share stories as I'm getting very active in my home state of New York about legalization. And I'm often talking to communities about what it's like to go through legalization and welcome our industry into the town. And I talk about my experiences here in Northampton all the time. And it's been, you know, so far a really great experience opening up my very first business here in town.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll turn it over to Alexander for an introduction as well.
Thank you, Brandon. Hello. So we are Farnsworth Fine Cannabis Company. We're the fourth dispensary to open in town. We are located at 126 Main Street, which is next to Cumberland Farms. And we are occupying the kind of outer skirt of the main Street area of town. And so we have we purchased a building that was formerly occupied by the Dempseys and did a gut renovation with local contractors. We opened our doors in March 2021 of this year after about 2 years of the process. And we are family owned and operated. So I would say we're by far the smallest dispensary in terms of volume of all of them. And it's myself, my older brother, Braden Farnsworth, our sister, Isabella, and our brother, Sterling, that run the business with about 20 others who are mostly local. So we've never, hired someone from out of state and flown them in. There perhaps wouldn't have been housing for them anyhow, but we are a team that lives in Great Barrington and in the Berkshires and cares about its current and its future. And so we're really happy and grateful to be able to be an active member in the business community in Great Barrington.
No, thank you. So just, a little bit of other information for the board, and we'll get to any questions that the board might have for us at this point in time. But we just want to talk a little bit about some of the growth and some of the good things that I think we've been up to. When we started Theory under medical, we had only five members of our team. We've grown that now to about 60 employees. Similar to Alexander, the more local, the better. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons for hiring local people, but certainly we've believed we've done a pretty good job of that. We've of course brought in a lot of tax revenues for the town through both the sales tax that gets applied to Great Barrington, but also just, as Charlotte mentioned, there's a lot of other businesses that are seeing customers that maybe otherwise wouldn't have been shopping in town. And then revitalization properties. I can certainly let my colleagues speak for what they've been up to, but our building was built, was just a parking lot that was turned into a building and increased the property value and so forth. And we're really, really proud of that.
Yeah, I'll weigh in just a little bit too. I mean, I think, I guess our point here is that we hope, and we do get feedback from, our neighbors in the community and friends that we've made in the community that in general, while people were worried about, the industry coming to town, and that's certainly something I heard in our outreach meetings, where our hope with this particular point on this slide was to demonstrate that it actually, has been a, mostly positive impact on the community. And so one example, that I can share is that we bought this property on the south end of town and, put a lot of work into revitalizing it. And I hope it's a beautiful, a property for people to see as they enter the community from the south end. And we do get a lot of feedback about that, but we also recently had it appraised, and the value is has gone up quite significantly, outpacing even the increase in property values in the town overall. It certainly outpaced that, and I think that that's been a good thing for all of our neighbors to have property values go up. I mean, that's oftentimes, as I heard in the presentation before, most people's primary source of wealth is in their home. So I'm hoping that, we've helped contribute to that in some positive way, in some small way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I know Alexander also did full new renovation in the building. Another thing we're proud of is just generally supporting the community. We've probably supported about, at least 6 or 8 different organizations at this point in time, and we're constantly looking forward to finding more community partners to support. We're at this point, we're getting great suggestions from our team members, and hey, I heard about this event or I heard about this organization, and we're really always happy to support those. I don't know if Charlotte or Alexander have any points there on some of the organizations that they've been proud to support.
The only caveat would be that our contribution to Railroad Street Youth Project will be written formally in 2022, March of 2022, as that's as we get our footing in our first full year of operation.
Yep.
But certainly, we've supported the film festival, the youth project, as well as smaller kind of event-based activations within the community.
And I'll just add,
Sorry, Charlotte. I do think it's worth noting for the general audience too, is that, as a cannabis company, there are some restrictions on organizations that we can support. And it's not always as easy as just writing a check or making a donation, given that the organizations have to, have causes that are aligned, or have audiences that are of a certain age, and et cetera. And so I do think that that's worth noting, because it's, I know that we all work really hard to make these things actually happen, whereas other businesses can just kind of sign the check and walk away.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that as well, our positive impact, I think the three of us all agree, is really important, well beyond anything that's required. We want to be a good part of good community members, and so one of the things that we did when we had our our donation that was due and is required by the town agreement to Volunteers in Medicine, we also asked our customers to match our gift. And so we set up at checkout, people could make a contribution. And so we were able to raise thousands more dollars for Volunteers in Medicine from 800 customers that matched our gift. And I also pay up to 20 hours I pay people who are hourly to 20 hours a year for volunteer community service work. And so we're doing a lot beyond, just that required donation, and, with Volunteers in Medicine. And we're, supporting our employees' opportunity to get out there and do more good work in the community.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you both for that. So that was just a quick, again, presentation, introduction and reintroduction to the board. We, as always, appreciate your support, and just wanted to see if there might be any, questions that we can answer at that time about our business here in Great Barrington.
Does anyone on the board have any questions?
I do have a question, and you'll please straighten me out where I'm incorrect, but I understand the commitment is 5-year commitment for the donation to the town, or the marriage you have with the town as far as the monies goes. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a 5-year host community agreement, Garfield.
Okay, and when that host agreement ends after 5 years,
we renegotiate.
We will renegotiate. Okay, that's what I wanted to know, how they felt about the renegotiation.
This is not a business negotiation meeting. This is a get to know the fine folks at these businesses.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Just, when marijuana was first legalized here, my concern was to make sure it was, we approached it orderly. Like everyone else, I had one eye on the money. A lovely bonus was the property being improved. But really what I didn't expect is how big a part of the community you guys have been. The three of you and Donna at Calyx, sponsoring local events above and beyond what it is you are sort of agreed to and required to do. So I would just want to thank you all for that. It's been easy to work with you. You've been, I assume if it weren't so inappropriate, you'd be sponsoring Little League. You've become that kind of community partner. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate it. And again, thank you for your leadership. We, being early was very important in this industry, and you really helped us all get there, and that's made all the difference.
Anyone else? Thank you very much. We're glad we get to see a face and get to know the company that you represent. We really appreciate that.
Well, thanks everybody, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Okay, next we have a license agreement for 123 Main Street. Alexander's staying on because he's part of this. Kate.
Steve, do you mind if I just provide a real brief
No, please do.
summary from the town's perspective.
Yes, please do.
So we were approached and asked to consider a license agreement with Hummingbird House LLC for use of a very small stretch of town-owned land down at the former Getty station on Main Street. It's 123 Main Street. And in summary, the agreement would allow the new leaseholder to improve the area, to reuse the historic signage, remodel or reuse the pump house, repave that area and landscape. So improving, at least from our perspective, a long vacant and blighted property. So I'll now turn it over to Kate and Alexander to talk about it from their perspective.
Thank you, Mark. I don't know, maybe Chris, are you able to put that, the plan that actually shows the property line on? I thought that might be helpful for the discussion.
Trying to find a clear version, clearer than what was in the packet. Just give me a second.
Okay, while you're doing that, if you don't mind, I'll just keep talking and we'll catch up with that. So for the record, Kathleen McCormick, Martin Marcus, I'm here with Alexander Farnsworth. It's not often that there's such a lovely introduction to my client and the item prior to me being on the agenda. But as you all just heard, Alexander is part of Farnsworth Fine Cannabis. The licensing agreement we're talking about tonight is with an entity called Hummingbird House LLC, and that is the property owner of the building that they are in across the street at 118 Main Street. So just to keep the ownership of the real estate different from the actual cannabis business, but there's a lease between Hummingbird House LLC and High Minded LLC doing business as Farnsworth Fine Cannabis. We're here, and again, similar to what the discussion was before, these entities, the retail marijuana establishments have, become partners in the community, and they've spent a great deal of thought and energy into revitalizing properties, into leaving a positive impact on the town. And when we talk about an area that needed a positive impact, across the street from Farnsworth is the old Getty gas station. I think we're all aware of it. It's a pretty blighted and left abandoned site. One of the challenges with the site, and the reason I wanted Chris to see if he could put it up on the screen, is that I'm going to call it the island that the pump house, the old gas pumps, and the signage were on, that shows in orange there, that is actually all on town property. So though when you drive by, you have the idea that that's part of the gas station property, it is all on town property. When I say all, the island that has that white building, which is the pump house where Chris's hand is, on either side of it, there were old pumps that were removed. And there's 2 signage areas in there. My client was able to get in touch and work out a lease deal with the entity that owns that space. What their goal is to clean up that space. They want to, they're very proud of their building across the street. They're proud of the entry into town from this area, and they want to restore that space, to clean it up. If you've noticed, there was a little bit of blacktopping that was done already. What we're looking to do is to have the ability to blacktop and fix uniformly the full area, including what we've done, and this orange area, which is actually town property. The goal is to clean it up, to restore it to be more of a vintage gas station feel, to use the signage, the old signage areas for signage for the business, and that Farnsworth Fine Cannabis will use some of that area as parking for their customers, as well as for staffing, just to get some more cars off the road. And that at some point they're going to work on this the actual masonry gas station that's not on town property, but they're going to clean that up. They're going to paint that, make it look a lot better, and they'll be using that for a business office for the retailer across the street. There is no intent to sell any sort of cannabis products on the site. It is just really to give a facelift, to help revitalize the neighborhood, and to use what's there to restore it, to make it look much better. You know, when we were trying to decide, Alexander and I were trying to come up with a plan. He's got great artistic vision. One of the concerns that we had was the island is a very good separator right there. And so we would like to keep that there, but improve upon it, restore it, make it more of a landscaping feature, and still keep traffic from driving onto this property, unless that was the intention, to drive onto this property. So we are requesting a license from the town of Great Barrington to use that strip. We've asked for it to go from the date that we were working on this, October 10th, all the way through October 10th of 2025, just so that we're not in front of you every year, since we're going to be putting a bit of money and effort into cleaning it off. We're looking for a little longer than a 1-year license. Obviously, it's able to be rescinded by either party with seven days written notice, similar to all other licenses in the town. That's basically it. We've had some discussions with Sean Van Duzen of DPW, and all work will comply with the conditions the town sets up to work on town property. I think that's the scope of the project. If anybody has any questions, either Alexander or I would love to answer them for you.
Is there any questions from the board? Go, Eric.
Yeah, I guess I like the idea of that property being cleaned up. No question about it. When you say landscaping, where the old pumps and everything were, what exactly do we have in mind? Are you gonna refix the old structure, or are we talking like pollinators and?
Well, so our goal right now, so we're under a lease. The landlord would like of the space would like us to keep what's there and to fix that up, to fix any structural in the pump house. I call it the pump house. I'm not sure, the pump building, and to keep that there. The goal would be either we have to look at some of the structural integrity and see what the project is. You know, the couple things that we talked about was we would potentially put a bench there with some plantings. You know, there's a really nice park on the side of the street right next to this property, which really doesn't have much else on that side of the road. So, you know, just to kind of tie in a flow, we know it's a traffic area. So do you really want to sit there? But the goal would be to keep the island, keep it so that it's a buffer between the road and the building. It wouldn't be planting permanent gardens, but maybe some potted plants to make it a little softer there, and to fix that pump house. But we are still determining exactly the best course of action for the pump house. I can tell you that we would like to leave the lighting, because it's a vintage lighting look. Make sure we don't know if those lights are operational, but we would like to get them operational, and to, you know, reuse that little area for some signage, as well as the other Getty sign that you can see in that picture. But that I didn't really talk much about that, because that's actually on the property of the Getty station. That's not the town property. So really the broken up pavement area that you can see in this picture, and that island full of weeds, the two lights and the pump house, are on town property.
Other questions? Go ahead, Eric.
I guess, yeah, Steve, this might be more directed at you, but as far as like Kate's mentioned, reuse of signage, right now we're just debating about the use of the land, and the signage is a whole different issue in the future, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, if I
Thank you.
could just address that, I have spoken with Ed May. So we have talked about kind of signage. Signage obviously would have to be a different application that we would have to go and go through sign permitting, just like in the bylaw. But this would allow us to use, if we do get through the sign permitting, it would allow us to use those signs that are on that property.
The two locations that are on those light poles on the island, basically.
Correct.
Is what, yes, okay.
Anyone else?
Just curious if you have any further plans other than offices in that area.
No, just well, Alexander, why don't you answer that question?
Yeah, well, if I could say, we were able just to get an electrician into the gas station. We got the utilities connected, so we know that power works. In terms of the other signage, we don't even know if power still goes to that part on town property. In terms of the future of the building, understand that we have entered into a lease agreement with the owner of the building. So it's not a property that we are purchasing, because the owner wants an exorbitant amount for it. So our goal is to give it curb appeal, to really solidify the area as a place where you would have a fine cannabis shop. So long-term plans beyond the office, no, we're not currently looking to open another building there. Sorry, I meant another business there of any sort at the moment. But we'll use mostly the exterior of the space.
Anyone else? Do I have a motion? Lee, you're muted.
Sorry, I had loud teenagers in the background. I make a motion to approve the license agreement between the town of Great Barrington and Hummingbird House LLC as detailed in the agreement.
Yes. We have a motion and a second. There's one person who's raised their hand, so allow him to talk. Mr. Diaz. Just unmute yourself, state your name and address. You are muted. Well, he's waiting to unmute. Is any other questions by the board? He doesn't seem to be able to unmute himself. Okay, roll call vote. Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And aye, it's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is a discussion on civil service in the Great Barrington Police Department. Mark?
Sure. So, Steve, if you could promote Chief Storty.
Yep.
In the meantime, this is a topic that I'm really pleased to be discussing this evening, since we started this conversation 2 years ago during our collective bargaining sessions. Hiring and promoting police officers has always been a challenge for the town, or has been for a very long time anyway, made only more challenging with civil service requirements. So Chief Storty's here to present a proposal tonight to the board for eliminating it and offering up some alternative hiring policies for initial hires and promotions. So go ahead, Chief, it's all you.
Thank you. Thanks for giving me this time today. As you've probably experienced over the last several years, the police department has really struggled to fill vacancies in a timely, efficient manner, which in turn creates collateral effects as far as the services that we can that we can provide to the community. Currently, the civil service system manages the hiring and promotional process for towns in which fall under their jurisdiction. Prior to post June or July 1st of 2021, they also handled disciplinary matters, but the establishment of the Post Commission took over that function of civil service. So civil service right now is only handling the hiring and promotional process. The exam for civil service hiring entry-level employees, police officers, is given every 2 years. They give the test in the spring. The results don't come out for several months after that. So for example, this year it came out in, the test I think was in May, and we didn't get the results until September. What we have seen over the last several exams that have been given is that we don't get many people from this area. I'll even say Great Barrington and even the surrounding towns. We're only getting a handful of candidates to choose from. Everyone else is out east or east of us here. This last test, the civil service provided me with 16 names. And of those 16 names, only 3 were residents. 1 was from just outside Great Barrington jurisdiction, but the other 15 were from out east, and no one signed the list to even be interviewed for that process. So then I looked at the extended list of civil service. So if I wanted to call for an extended list for more names to try to get more candidates, I went to approximately 100 down the list, and they were all from out east. Civil service had its purpose many, many years ago, but it's really handcuffing us and me to run and hire and promote efficiently for the town. Currently, there's only 3 towns in Berkshire County that remain in civil service. That's us, Dalton, and Pittsfield. I have not spoken to the Pittsfield chief yet about any future plans, but I did have a conversation with the Dalton chief, and it's definitely on their radar also to be removed from civil service. I provided and put together a pretty extensive packet for everybody to read. I worked hard with the union. I did an informational meeting with all the membership of the police department to explain to them what my goal and what the benefits would be. And I was able to obtain their support and working directly with them. I also came up with a pretty comprehensive personnel hiring policy. It's a draft policy, but we've worked together on it. So we're both the union membership and the command staff are pretty comfortable with what we put together, and also another policy for the promotional process and how that would look. Hopefully you got those in your packet and had an opportunity to review them. What we did was I tried to take the good stuff about civil service, the things that do work, to make it, fair and objective, and take that and build from that and put together policies that really give us a more comprehensive hiring practice and promotional practice that we currently use. So I'm looking for your support. I anticipate a couple openings possibly in the near future. And if that's the case, it won't be until September of 2 years, so September of 2023, before I'll even have a list to choose from any candidates. Also, like with the vacancy of sergeant, just to give you an example of how hard it is to manage in the layers that they put, we offered the promotional assessment center for the sergeant's position September 29th of this year, and I still have not got a certified list from civil service to go ahead and make that appointment. I've tried calling them to expedite it, and I'm not getting any assistance with that. So I would love to answer any questions. Like I said, I did a lot of research, and I just think at this time, for the town, for the police department, it's the best way to move forward to be able to fill those vacancies so we can do the job without forcing people to work, and have the people to do the projects that I want them to do in the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Mark, do you want to just talk about the process to do this?
Sure. So the chief's here tonight really to present this publicly for the first time and open it up for discussion and questions. What we will do with board support is bring this forward to the annual town meeting. We have to unravel this the same way that we put it into place back in the 1930s. So ultimately, the voters, our legislative body, will make the call, but it's up to this board to decide whether to bring this forward and place it on the warrant for 2022 town meeting.
Any questions of Chief, or do I have a motion? I don't hear any questions. Do I have a motion? You're muted again, Lee. Or still?
I make a motion to accept the terms of the civil service as laid out by Chief Storty.
Second.
Do I have any discussion?
Just that, this is something I knew almost nothing about. And it was the clearest, concisest, if that's a word, explanation. So thank you, Chief. It was really clear and easy to follow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to echo that. Thank you very much, Chief Storty, for all your research on this and for clarifying a lot of points that were unclear to me before tonight. Thank you.
And we're going to see a financial impact too, without the overtime, if we can keep our staffing levels and don't have to wait. There's a lot of benefits to it. I think the time is right, and I really hope I can get your support for this.
So we have a motion and a second, a roll call vote. Garfield?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And aye, it's unanimous. Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Next, we have the 2022 town meeting election calendar. Jen is on the line.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
We can.
Okay. I know you guys got a little bit of a last minute addition. You wanted to look at possibly doing the annual town meeting in June as well as an alternate. So the original schedule you would have gotten would have had the annual town election and the annual town meeting both in May. So that would have been, the town meeting would have been Monday, May 2nd, and the second night if needed, Thursday, May 5th, and the town election for Tuesday, May 10th, which is the usual schedule. That's the usual schedule, to have town meeting the first Monday in May and the town election the second Tuesday in May. And then we also added on an alternative to have the annual town meeting in June. And so that would have been to have it tentatively from Monday, June 6th, and a second night if needed, Thursday, June 9th. So I'm not sure. I know, Steve, that you were kind of tossing around the June date. So I'm not sure if you guys have any questions about the calendar or anything.
The point of that was to actually approve both of those tonight. If COVID is still an issue, it's going to be an issue, but if it's still an issue that we can't go indoors, the early May date may be a little bit cold to be in the parking lot. And so if we, as a board, decide in either early April or March that we want to go outdoors and we want to do it in June, we'll have the dates reserved with the school, with a moderator, and everyone will know the dates will be completely transparent. That was just the point of that. Any questions? Eric?
Steve, I got just a random question here. I was noticing last town meeting season that several towns do them on a Saturday. Have we ever given that any thought? I'm not saying that it would be better. I'm just curious if there's been a debate over that at any time for Great Barrington.
Mark, go ahead.
Chime in. I believe our charter requires us to have a town meeting on the first Monday in May. we've had to look for alternatives the last 2 years because of COVID, but we could consider that. Of course, it would require charter change, though.
We've used the emergency provision because of COVID to move it to a Monday. Any other questions? Does you have a motion to accept the town meeting election calendar as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. And the amendment, just anyone listening, is the June 6th and June 9th alternate town meeting date. Roll call vote. Garfield?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And aye. It's unanimous.
Steve?
Yes.
I just have a question. So do you have an idea about when you would make a firm decision about the June date?
How late can we go in your mind?
Well, I would say probably you definitely should need to know sometime, I would say by the beginning of March at the very latest.
So then we will decide by either the end of February or beginning of March. You drive the bus on this one.
I would say probably by the end of February, we should, that way it'd be on the safe side.
It will be on the agenda for the last meeting in February.
Okay.
I would also just like to add real quick before we move on, we did send these potential dates to Michael Wise, our moderator, and to the school district. So we haven't heard any reason that these dates won't work. So I think we're good to go.
Perfect. Jen, you're still on for electioneering during early voting and absentee voting for all elections.
All right. So this item, just to kind of sum it up from the executive summary, it's basically the same thing as what is on election day. So when people are required to be at least 150 feet away from the entrance of the polling location at both of them, it's the same concept as that, except it's just during the early voting period. So basically, when people are coming to the town hall to do early voting, if you adopt this, it'll be the same thing, that people will need to be at least 150 feet away with any of the signs for campaigning and things like that, or even for any kind of signs stuck in the ground, anything like that. And obviously the locations that I gave for the 150 feet would be the corner of Castle and Main, which is the north side corner, across the street on the sidewalk in front of Wheeler and Taylor, and the sidewalk on the south side of the Hellman Schern and Arianti building at 342 Main Street. So those are the closest places that people would be able to do any campaigning during early voting or in-person voting at the town hall.
Thanks, Jen. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept those details as stated by Jen Messina.
Second.
And that's explicit in the electioneering during early and absentee voting for all elections that was in our packet. So I have a motion, a second. Discussion. Seeing none. Garfield?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And it's unanimous. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Parking limits for the holiday season, November 26th through December 31st. Mark, you want to give us a little brief overview?
Sure. So for the past 2 years, this board has lifted time limits for parking downtown from the day after Thanksgiving until New Year's Day, at least for periods less than 24 hours. So I just wanted to bring this before the board tonight to see if you'd like to consider doing that again as a way to encourage folks to shop downtown, eat downtown, and visit Great Barrington during the holiday season.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept as detailed by the town manager in regards to parking.
Sorry, second.
So that's the parking limits for November 26th through December 31st. Discussion, questions? Seeing none. Garfield?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And aye, it's unanimous. Approval of bond sale.
Steve, before we move on, can I just mention one thing about parking? I just, after doing this now for a couple of years, I just thought it might be a good idea to mention to everyone, remind everyone that parking within the lines, the striped lines, parking in handicapped spots or in otherwise restricted areas will still be enforced. It's not a free for all. We will still be enforcing parking. It's just that we won't be enforcing the 2 hour, 4 hour, and so on parking limits.
Thank you for the clarification. Approval of bond sale. Is Alicia on? Is she going to lead this, or you, Mark?
Alicia is not on, unfortunately. She just sent me a text and said she was unable to make it. So I'm sorry, I won't be able to answer questions tonight. This is a bond sale to fund capital projects previously approved by town meetings.
Is there any questions that would preclude us from voting on this? I don't see any questions, so do I have a motion?
I make a motion that the board approve and confirm the sale of the 2.
Yeah, Lee, I have some bad news for you.
Oh.
Afraid of that.
Yeah, even without Alicia here, I know that it's got to be read into the minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the hold.
The whole 2.5 pages.
Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. I, the clerk of the select board of the town of Great Barrington, Massachusetts, the town, certify that at a meeting of the board held November 8th, 2021, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified and at which a quorum was present, the following votes were unanimously passed, all of which appear on the official record of the board in my custody. Voted that the maximum useful life of the departmental equipment listed below is hereby determined pursuant to General Law, Chapter 44.7.1 to be as follows. Date amortized, May 6, 2018, Article 7, purpose, transfer station motor and railing, borrowing amount $50,000, maximum useful life, 11 years. Dated June 26, 2020, Article 8, wastewater service truck, borrowing amount $76,600, maximum useful life, 7 years. Further voted that the sale of the $2,820,000 general obligation municipal purpose loan of 2021 bonds of the town, dated November 17th, 2021, to Piper Sandler and Company at the price of $3,114,616.91, and accrued interest, if any, is hereby approved and confirmed. The bonds shall be payable on November 15th of the years, and in the principal amounts and bear interest at the respective rates as followed. Year 2022 amount $310,000, interest rate 5%. Year 2028 amount $205,000, interest rate 2%. Year 2023 amount $300,000, interest rate 5%. Year 2029 amount $175,000, interest rate 2%. Year 2024 amount $285,000, interest rate 5%. Year 2030 amount $160,000, interest rate 3%. Year 2025 amount $270,000, interest rate 5%. Year 2037 amount $605,000, interest rate 2%. Year 2026 amount $225,000, interest rate 5%. Year 2041 amount $60,000, interest rate 2%. Year 2027 amount $225,000, interest rate 5%. Further voted that the bonds maturing on November 15th, 2037 and November 15th, 2041 shall be subject to mandatory redemption or mature as follows. Term bond due November 15th, 2037. Year 2031, amount $125,000. Year 2032, amount $115,000. Year 2033, amount $115,000. Year 2034, amount $110,000. Year 2035, amount $110,000. Year 2036, amount $15,000. Year 2037, amount $15,000, and that represents maturity. Term bond due November 15th. Continue. Oh, yeah, continue. Year 2038, amount $15,000. Year 2039, amount $15,000. Year 2040, amount $15,000. Year 2041, amount $15,000, which represents maturity. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the bonds, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated October 20th, 2021, and a final official statement dated October 27th, 2021, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby ratified, confirmed, and approved and adopted. Further, that the bonds shall be subject to redemption at the option of the town upon such terms and conditions as are set forth in the official statement. Further voted that the town treasurer and the select board be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a continuing disclosure undertaking in compliance with SEC Rule 15, Chapter 2-12 in such form as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the bonds for the benefit of the holders of the bonds from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosure procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the bonds and to comply with relevant securities laws. Further voted that any certificates or documents related to the bonds, collectively the documents, may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original and all of which shall constitute one and the same document. Delivery of an executed counterpart of a signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or by other electronic transmission shall be as effective as delivery of a manually executed counterpart signature to such document, and electric signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purpose of the documents and all matters relating thereto, having the same legal effect as original signatures. Further voted that each member of the select board, the town clerk, and the town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes. I further certify that the votes were taken at a meeting open to the public and that no vote was taken by secret ballot, that a notice stating the date, time, and agenda for the meeting, which agenda include the adoption of the above votes, was filed with the town clerk, and a copy thereof posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours in or on the municipal building that the office of the town clerk is located, or if applicable, in accordance with an alternative method of notice prescribed or approved by the Attorney General as set forth in 940 CMR 29.032B, at least 48 hours, not including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays, prior to the time of the meeting and remain so posted at the time of the meeting, that no deliberations or decision in connection with the sale of the bonds were taken in executive session, all in accordance with General Law, Chapter 30A, 18-25 as amended. Dated November 8th, 2021, Clerk of the Select Board.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Garfield.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
And aye, it's a unanimous vote. Thank you. Citizen speak time. Seeing no one. Select board time. Garfield.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Eric.
Nothing. Thank you.
Ed.
Nothing.
Lee.
I think I just put all the citizens to sleep.
Our participants didn't go down dramatically during that, but that's
Nothing for me.
No one's in the group.
Thank you, Lee. Media time. Seeing no media, by unanimous consent, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay.